Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 10 out of J, man. I'm rocking with y'all. Let y'all rocking with me. This video is going to be about how I found the COs that beat me inside of prison. I was just scrolling through the internet. I had a completely different video planned. I was scrolling through the internet. I found the arrest log, because there was multiple COs from Lancaster Correctional Institution that were arrested. I think only 2 of them were actually found guilty. So I'm looking them up. I'm looking for a mugshot. I'm looking because I haven't seen their faces since 2013, 2014. And I think to myself, well, let me try social media, Facebook, Instagram. And I found one. And through that one, I found all of them. Because they're all still friends with each other. So literally everybody, they're liking each other's pictures. They're everything. And I felt some type of way seeing their profile pictures. Because I only saw them in a uniform. I didn't get to see what they look like with their family. I didn't get to, when they're doing videos and smiling, laughing, I didn't see that person. Who I saw was up in your face, was screaming, was hitting you, smacking you, throwing you around, stomping on you with boots. When you get to Lancaster CI, they get on the bus. Everybody's got to put their head. They tell you to put your head under your balls. They want you to put your fucking forehead on the floor of the bus. And when they walk down the aisle, they smack the shit out of everybody on the back of their heads. And then they tell you to get off. You get off. They're throwing you off. You get into this huge room. You strip naked. Everybody stands there. Everybody's getting slapped in their face. This is how it was when you got to Lancaster. Everybody went through this. Everybody's getting the shit smacked out of them. When you go into the orientation dorm and you're learning the facial commands, left face, right face, about face, all that shit, when you fuck up, you get smacked. You get, full force. They cock back, boom, smack the shit out of you. If you flinch, you're getting hit again, or they're going to put you up against the wall and fuck you up. When the doors pop, if you're not dressed and ready to stand outside of your cell, they come in and fuck you up. You're getting your ass whooped on all corners. Any little thing, you look wrong, you breathe wrong, you're getting hands put on you. And, that shit didn't bother me as much. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when the door opened up, I didn't even peep. I was still asleep. CO came in and started beating the fuck out of me while I was on my bunk. I remember getting the shit smacked out of me because I said something to someone else that was in another dorm. One of my brothers had shouted out to me. I shouted out something back. That CO told my CO smacked the fuck out of me. And, you know what I mean? Like, that shit wasn't as bad as some of the things that they used to do. When I got inside of B-Dorm, it was another ball game because they used to come in with the basketballs from when we go to rec and play dodgeball with everybody as we sit up on our bunks. You know what I mean? We sit up on our bunks. You're not allowed to flinch. You're not allowed to move. And they would launch the basketball hard as hell off of somebody's face, off of someone's head. If you flinch, if you move, if you weave it, they're going to beat you. You know what I mean? And they're going to beat you in front of everyone. They would come in, they put their gloves on, and they would just start whooping shit. And if you block, that pisses them off even more. So you pretty much just got to stand there and get your shit punched in repeatedly. You know what I mean? You see kids getting thrown off the bunk. They flip the whole bunk over. Their shit goes everywhere. They're stomping on them on the floor, hitting them in their ribs. The bunks, right? On a normal rack, it has that bar that comes across. Well, we used to kick the bars off, put a handle on it, and hit people with them like baseball bats. The COs would keep one inside of the bubble and beat them, and they would come out and hit us with it. They hit you in the shins with it. They hit you in the body with it. And it's literally just a metal bar, you know what I mean? With a flat surface. It's not circular. It's got 4 sides to it, and they would just hit you with it. And it felt like you were getting hit with a metal pipe. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what it was. Even that, as much as we hated it, as much as we could feel the tension in the dorm when they would come in and we knew that they were about to play this game with us. We knew that they were about to just start fucking people up and taking off on people. And I remember a Spanish CO came in, he popped off on the kid closest to the water fountain. Just went to teeing off on this kid's jaw, grabbed his ankles, ripped him off the bunk, went to stomping on his fucking face. This kid's trying to cover up. He's just getting beat. And we're just watching it, hoping that it isn't us, it isn't one of ours. You know what I mean? If it's an enemy, if it's a neutron, it is what it is, because it has to happen to somebody. You know it has to happen to somebody. But when you watch one of your own get beat like that, the worst beating for me by a CO was when I got fired up in the back of my head. Because that morning, one of my brothers popped off on a Zoe, put a hole in his head. It was fucking disgusting. But he put a huge hole in his head, and then I got hit up. They took one of my brothers that had nothing to do with it. They took him, the Zoe that had the hole in his head, me, and the one that crashed me, all into the back of B-Dorm. Me and the one that had the hole, we didn't get touched because we were already bleeding. The 2 others got beat. The one that crashed me, they beat the shit out of him, and they beat my brother. But what they did is they handcuffed them first and put them onto the ground and just pummeled them. Like, they put their gloves on. The captain came. Everyone was present. The captain, the sergeant, the officers. They put their gloves on, and I watched them beat them. And, you know, hearing somebody screaming for their mom and just screaming in general, just hearing the sounds of pain, just watching someone's face get beat in to the point that it's not recognizable. His face was out here. It looked like they broke his fucking jaw. Like, they beat him bad. The Zoe that got me, they fucked him up too, but it wasn't as worse as my brother got it. He got it the worst, and I'm handcuffed and pushed against the wall, and I can't do nothing. You know what I mean? And I didn't have to watch, and I looked away, but it's the sounds. I couldn't stop hearing the sounds he was making, the grunting, you know, you hear the COs just talking shit, huffing and puffing and hitting them and stomping them, and I don't know, just seeing all that fucked me up a lot worse than a lot of the other violence, the cuttings, the stabbings, because it's more of a helpless situation. It's different when you see 2 pits going at it, when you see 2 people that want to take each other's head off and they go at it, versus when you see somebody that's handcuffed laying on the floor, screaming, getting pummeled by 4 or 5 grown fucking men. It fucks your head up in a different way. And you know, when I was taking the confinement and the CO came up to my window, eyes wide as fuck, he's like, "Oh, you want to play? All right, we're going to play some games." And they started starving me on my trays. They were emptying out my trays and throwing them in my cell. They ended up gassing the shit out of me. It's these COs that I found, the same CO that called me out to fight and took me into a private room and took his belt off and was like, "What's up, you want to fight?" And everybody told me how he does it. He'll fight, but he's going to put you in confinement right after. You know what I mean? Like, there was certain officers you could bump, but this wasn't one of them. Like, he was a bitch, you know what I'm saying? And the only reason he was doing this is because the X-Men were too pussy at the time to come and hit me up. So they tried to send an officer at me, telling the officer I've been talking shit about him. So the officer pulls me in the room. Man, if you want to bump, we can bump, but I know you pussy. You just gonna put me in confinement. I'm gonna get hit with a new charge, assault on a corrections officer, whatever. But it was just the type of pressure that these COs were applying, acting so gangster, acting so vicious. They will put on this whole front like they're so savage, where they're beating the fuck out of us. They're talking shit to us. They're telling us, oh, we're going to put you in that dorm so that gang gets you. Holding us down. They're breaking jaws. They're hitting people with walkie-talkies, splitting their heads. And I get put into confinement after all that shit went down. After watching bro get beat like that and all that shit. I get put into confinement. And I'm just sitting there, you know, thinking about it at 1, 2, 3 in the morning, starving, my stomach's hurting because we don't get any canteen in confinement. I'm up. I got them hunger pains that are just keeping me up in the middle of the night. And I'm just thinking about killing these COs. Like, that's all that was just going through my head, was just killing them. Because it's like, the abuse doesn't stop. It stops for you. But it doesn't stop for anyone else. And I feel that one of the main reasons that people get out of prison and don't look back and don't fuck with anyone they were in there with is because it's like you're finally away from it. You finally don't have to deal with it. But at the end of the day, there's so many other people that still have to consistently deal with the same shit that you went through. And I just started thinking a lot of evil ass thoughts. Like, it was to the point where I even thought of getting out and pulling up to the parking lot during shift change and just dumping off as all these COs come out to, you know, go home and go to work. Like, I just wanted to take out as many of them as humanly fucking possible. Like, this was the type of shit that I was thinking about after witnessing and going through what they put us through. You know, it's nothing short of abuse. You can't try to say, oh, we did it because of this, we did it because of that. It's bullshit. Because even if you had a kid that was in there for killing somebody, you got another kid that's in there for a simple drug charge. Or he crashed a car on prom night and killed his best friend by accident, and he got hit with 10 years on a manslaughter. And you're going to beat the fuck out of him just like you're going to beat the fuck out of him. It's not like they punish us differently. They punish everybody. They abuse their authority because they know they can. And as I find the specific pages, the specific one that looked at me in the cell before they got the gas, that wanted to starve me throughout the weekend, as I looked at the page of the one that slapped the fuck out of me and then beat my brother into the fucking floor, I see them with their families. I see them with their kids, their wives. One of them, you know, military fatigues, and he was a veteran. I see them in a different manner, but all I can think about is that their family doesn't know this side of them. Whatever they're doing now, because most of them don't even work for the prison anymore, their co-workers don't even know this side to them. The type of shit that they were doing to 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, like, while they were anywhere from 25 to 35 years old. You know, I'm 25 now. When I look at an 18-year-old, I look at him like he's a fucking kid, like you're a jit. But when I was 18, I felt like I was grown. But I would still look at a 35-year-old or even a fucking 27-year-old like, oh, you old, you know what I mean? But me being 25 now, putting hands on an 18-year-old, it's like you're beating up a fucking kid, you know what I mean? And as I just looked through their pages, I just felt this fucking rage inside of my stomach. Like, I felt all of those feelings again that I was feeling when I was alone in my cell with stitches in my head, just replaying everything that I had just saw. These are the things that I feel makes a killer. When you go through traumatic experiences, there's different ways of handling things, and there's different ways of accepting what happens, but you can't control what it becomes. And for me, it just became a fire inside of me that made me want to lash out in a violent manner. I wanted to answer violence with violence. I wanted to make them hurt how we hurt. I want you to feel pain too. And the one specific sergeant that was in the military that was ruthless inside of there, you can see the same look in his eye as we had in ours. That shell-shocked look, the look of we've been through some shit. You can see it in his eyes and in his pictures. You can tell he struggles with some shit. Whatever happened to him when he was in the war. You know what I mean? Because he was Afghanistan, Iraq, whatever the fuck. He was there. But it also makes me question, why would somebody like that be able to work in a facility like this? Where you can tell that they have a mental issue, and then he abuses and does all these things to us. And in return, we're left scarred, whether it's physically, mentally, and we're out here dealing with this shit. You know what I mean? It fucked me up because I saw the picture of him holding his daughter. And I thought about mine. And it brings me back to the same thing with my co-defendant. I saw a picture that he has a daughter. Because when I first found out he snitched, I had no sympathy for him. You know what I mean? I had no sympathy for him, for his family, nothing. But it's the same thing when I saw the picture of the sergeant with his little girl. Because I wouldn't want anybody to take me from my daughter. But the shit that you did to us, would it be wrong if I took you from yours? And at the same time, it's almost too easy. Like, you don't even want to do something like that to somebody. You don't want to take it there. You don't want to kill someone. You don't want to throw your life away. But I so badly want to make you hurt the way we did. I would love to cuff you up and put you through the shit that you put us through. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to make a video and show y'all the arrests and show y'all the mugshots. But at the same time, it's just like, it's such a fucking consuming, I don't know how to say it, like a consuming energy that comes about my soul. You know what I'm like? It changed my whole mood. Everything switched once I started seeing these pictures. Once the memories started coming back. Once all these little incidences started to add up. And it's like the mature me is like, nah, you know what? Keep it pushing, da-da-da. But as I start replaying these things in my head over and over, the way I had to do in confinement, because I had to do over 300 days of confinement over some bullshit that they made up just because they wanted to put me through it. It's like having the ability to put blame on a face, and you see that face, and you're the reason I struggle with a lot of things. You're the reason that I have a lot of these issues. And I can't solely blame the correctional officer because we went through violence amongst ourselves. I can't blame anybody for putting me in prison either. But I just feel some type of way about the abuse that we went through and the fact that they go without any form of punishment. I don't want them punished by the fucking police, nah. Because the ones that did, they got a year of probation. It wasn't nothing. And you had COs slamming people handcuffs, their arms are breaking and popping out of the fucking socket. I'm not talking about that kind of punishment. I'm talking about pain. Physical torment. Like the type of shit that we went through, where the gas is burning your skin off, where the walkie-talkie is leaving patches in your head. You got to get sewed up. And they write down on a piece of paper that the opposite gang member did it to you with a lock in the sock. And they had that lock in the sock sitting inside of the bubble ready because they kept the weapons in the bubble inside of a drawer. So if they beat the shit out of you and wanted to make it up, they got the weapon to do it, and they just pick whatever inmate that they want to pin it on. And that's how they operated. A part of me wanted to reach out. A part of me wanted to message one of them and be like, hey, I want to bring you on. I want to talk to you about this shit. But I don't think that I could literally sit down and just have a normal conversation with somebody like that. I don't think I could get past it. I don't think, because for one, I don't believe that they would be honest and say, yeah, you know what, I did that and I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I don't think any of them are going to do that. What I think they're going to do, if I decided to go this route, it would just be an argument. And there wouldn't be a video to post, because the second that comes up, yeah, I was in here and you did this to me and I watched you do this to them. It's just going to be, oh, you can't prove it, or oh, I didn't do any of that. I don't know what you're talking about. Bye. It's like y'all getting away with the shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all getting away with the shit that y'all did to us. But at the same time, how much shit did I get away with? How many people did I victimize that I didn't get punished for? So I can't look at it in one aspect and not the other. Because if I had the ability to punish them, but then I have to get punished by everybody that I victimized, I'd be dead. I wouldn't be alive. You know what I mean? So I have to look at it from both angles. And I mean, this video might be all over the place and a complete mind fuck, but it was a mind fuck to me to see their pictures and feel all those feelings again, because I haven't felt that type of... I haven't felt that in a long time. And it's a dangerous feeling. It's the type of feeling that you can forget about how good you have it. You can forget about family members. You can forget about everything. The only thing that you remember, the smell of blood, the sound of screams, the feeling of your body going numb after taking so much pain, and then how bad you want revenge. How bad you want to make them hurt. And like I said, you know, this YouTube shit, sometimes I get nightmares. Like, I'll have those prison dreams when I'm back in the dorm and I'm getting poked up, and I'll have these dreams and it'll fuck me up after I do certain videos. And sometimes this platform helps me because it gives me a chance to speak on things I don't normally talk about with people. I don't do therapy. I don't do none of that shit. But it's just, I don't know. It's a fucked up thing. But at the end of the day, we just gotta be bigger and better. We can't let what happened in the past dictate our future. No matter how bad it hurts, we have to overcome it, and we have to overcome it in a way that suits society. But not only that, in a way that still maintains progression as a felon, as a human. I can't do something that's gonna throw me back into the position that I was in when I was 18. I can't lose focus of my daughter. I can't lose focus on the responsibilities that I have over something that I never got over. You know what I mean? Because there's so many people that have been done wrong, but still have the strength to push forward. So I can't look at it like, oh, I need to go do this. I can't, because to me that's being mentally weak. I can't just snap and give everything up and get put back into a cell. Because even if, I took my anger and aggression out on one of them, that's not going to stop the thousands of other ones that are doing the same things. But by doing these videos and exposing the truths and trying to find some form of reform or progression within the Florida Department of Corrections body cam so that they can't abuse inmates, that's the only way that I can get back without putting myself at risk, without putting myself back in a cell. It's the only way I can get back through maturity. But it's a fucking struggle. There's a lot of mental issues that I have. There's a lot of mental issues that damn near everybody within the Florida Department of Corrections has. Whether it's staff, whether it's inmates, but it's another thing that's overlooked that needs to be addressed. I don't know. I found the COs that beat the shit out of me and my brothers, and I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. I don't know. I just feel like I really needed a vent just to talk about it. Because I can view it, like I can acknowledge how much it's affecting me right now. Just talking about it. And it's dangerous. Because it makes me want to do things that I haven't done in a long fucking time. And I don't necessarily want to be that person. But I can't forget the faces that I saw getting beat. And I can't forget the feeling of having that happen to me. It's fucking insane. And this is why I tell y'all, y'all don't want no parts of this shit. If you've never been to prison, don't do anything that's gonna jeopardize that and put you in a position where you have to deal with these fucking things. Because a lot of people snap. A lot of people kill themselves. A lot of people will kill other people. Not even the one that did it to them, just somebody that reminds them of that person. You might get out and get bullied by somebody and it reminds you of that CO. And now all of a sudden you done killed this man and you're in prison for the rest of your life. It's tough. But it is what it is. But hey, it's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, y'all rocking with me. Till next time.